Hey guys, it's Matt, Trend over 943. In today's video, I have a review on the Lionel Promontory Summit General Lion Chief set. So this is a really pretty cool set. Now, if you're curious on why the engines are decorated like this, the Promontory Summit was the site of May 10th, 1869, when the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific Railroads met to commemorate the start of the Transcontinental Railroad. Now, it's a really cool event, and I'm not going to take the time here to talk about it, but I will link in the description a Wikipedia page all about it so you guys can check it out and read more about it on your own time. So, we're going to talk about the engines here and have some fun. So, here we go. Alright, so this set was first featured in Lionel's 2019 Volume 1 catalog, and it was featured on page 70 and 71. And here's the catalog picture right here. So, you can see these engines are really nice. So we get the two engines. We get the Jupiter and the 119. And we also get a golden spike style universal remote. So it's kind of, Lionel's play on the golden spike. So you get the golden universal remote to run the engines. So that's pretty cool. Alright, now while the remote may look different than the orange universal remote that Lionel came out with, it's the same. The only difference is the paint color. So all the same features and everything the orange UR does, this golden one does. So it's really pretty cool. And it just makes running these engines a whole lot of fun. Speaking of running them, when it comes time to get them underway, you have two ways you can actually run the engine. So you can run it with the Bluetooth app or the universal remote. Now, these don't come with a separate remote for each engine. They come with the UR instead, which is pretty cool. So I'll link in the description a video done by Sean of Sean's Trains and Cars. He did a video on the UR, so I'll go ahead and show you about that. He also has this set, which is actually him having this set is really the reason why I bought it. I found it in the catalog and kind of liked it when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then when I saw it in his video, I'm like, okay, I have to have this. So here we are. So I'll go ahead and show you some of the details on the engines now. Now what I'm going to do is, because the detail is pretty much the same on both of them, I'm going to show you the Jupiter mainly, but when I get to the detail differences for the 119, I'll go ahead and do some side-by-side pics so you guys can see that. So, alrighty, let's get to work here. Alright, so like I said in the onset, the details on each engine will be slightly different, but the general idea is they're pretty much the same. So on the front we have the cow catcher, and then just above that we have the smoke box front, which has the road number on it, which looks pretty cool. And then on the other side of the smoke box we have the handrails, and the handrails go down each side of the boiler, and they look really nice. Moving up some more, we have the headlight, and the headlight is an LED headlight, so that's kind of nice. And then on the side of it we have this really cool emblem. Looks pretty cool. Moving down the model, we have the wheels, and these look really nice. So we have the front truck here, which looks really cool. And then above the front truck, we have the cylinder. And the cylinder has this really nice gold color along with the blue band with the gold accents on it. It looks really nice. And then speaking of gold accents, as we move down some more, we have some more gold accents. And then on the drive wheels themselves, we have some gold accents on the top and some red spoking on them. Looks really awesome. Okay, moving on the top, we have the smokestack, and this is the major difference between the 119 and the Jupiter here. So if I flash up a picture of the two side by side, you can see the difference in the smokestacks. Now, one thing to note is that in the catalog for the 119, the smokestack was pictured as silver, but on the model it's actually black. So I don't know why they changed it. If there's a prototypical reason for that, but it's black. So coming down some more, we have the bell, which looks pretty cool. Then we have the sand dome, which on the Jupiter has the number on it. Looks really cool. And then finally, on the raised part of the boiler towards the cab, we have this dome which has the whistle on it. Now, the whistle may look slightly bent, and that's because it's actually plastic, and it doesn't really have a spot in the packaging for it, so you may have to take like a heat gun or a hairdryer or something and just bend it back. So I'll do that eventually. It's not really a big deal to me, so I don't really care about it. And then we have the cab, and we have the Jupiter name under the cab, which looks really cool. As far as the cab itself, there's not really much to see back here, but if I shine a flashlight on it, we can see the control switches for the model. So on the left, we have the chuff on-off switch, and then on the right, we have the smoke unit on-off switch. And it's kind of nice that they're in the back, so that way you don't have to take the engine off the track and just throw it real quick, which is kind of nice. And then the cab, in the section that you can see, there's not really anything to see. It's basically just a black wall, and that's because the motor is right behind the cab, so that way you wouldn't see it. It's covered by something, so that's pretty nice. Next up, we have the connection between the engine and the tender. Now, on these Lion Chief engines, and also the Lion Chief Plus and 2.0 units, these are really cool the way they do the drawbar. So the drawbar has these 4 little pins on it, and you can see here how you connect them. You basically just roll the tender up and pull the engine up slightly, and then you push them down, and it's locked in place. It's really cool. And it takes a little bit of force to pull them apart, which I was kind of surprised by. So it's really, it's not like you pulled the engine up and, it comes apart. You have to kind of grab it with your finger and actually move it. So it's kind of nice the way they have that set up. Okay, so now with the engine taken out of the way, we'll go ahead and look at the tender real quick. So on the top of the tender, we have the wood load, and it looks really cool. I really like the way they did that. And what's even cooler than the wood load is the side of the tender. Now on both of these, the graphics are fantastic. This Jupiter name looks awesome, and all the little accents and things they have looks really cool. We also have some nice blue truck side frames to match the body, which looks awesome. And then on the back here, we have a coupler. Now, unlike the other engines, the Lion Chief engines do not have an operating coupler via like the remote or anything. It's just a standard operating coupler where you push the little tab down and it actually opens. So it doesn't open electronically, but it does open, which is nice. And so that'll do it. So we'll go ahead and fire these engines up and run them for a little while. Okay, so we'll start by doing the Jupiter first. So I'll go ahead and throw in a little power here. Alright, you can hear it's doing the whistling sound, chirping, whatever you want to call it. So I'll go ahead and turn on the remote here. And I have this one under engine 2, so there we go. And now we can hear our sounds. So here's the whistle. Here's the bell. And then here's the announcements when it's sitting still.
Mr. Stanford is on board. Let's head east to Promontory.
Here's another one.
Hey, we've got a nation to build. Let's head east.
And here's the final one.
We topped off the tender. Let's get moving.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and give it a few laps around the layout here, and I will play each of the moving announcements in those clips. So here we go.
Almost there. Disconnect straight ahead. We're heading east and making good time.
Alright, then there's one more if you do it while you're sitting still after you stopped. That's pretty cool, kind of like the ending of a ceremony. So that's pretty neat. So we'll go ahead and back this one up, and we'll fire up the 119 and listen to that one. Alright, so I'll shut off the Jupiter, and we'll get to the 119 now. Alright, so you can hear we're whistling again, so I'll go ahead and select engine 1. And there we go. So here's our whistle here. Here's the bell. Then here's the idle crew talk.
Mr. Durand is on board. Let's head west to Promontory.
Here's another.
Hey, we've got a nation to build. Let's head west.
And here's the final one.
We topped off the tender. Let's get moving.
Now we'll do the same thing. I'll go ahead and run it around a couple times. You can hear the moving crew talk.
These planes seem to go on forever. All clear. Entry straight ahead. We're heading west and making good time.
Okay, so that was some of the basic sounds of each engine. As you guys can hear, they're basically the same, but they do have a little bit of difference in the crew talk because the name of each president is a little bit different, and the moving crew talk, the scenery is also a little bit different, so they changed the crew talk a little bit. But nevertheless, these are really nice engines. Now, I'm going to run them some more, but I want to preface that I don't have any era-specific cars for these. So for the time being, I'm just going to run them by themselves. Eventually, I do want to get some passenger cars, and I'll talk more about that after I run them. So while you won't be seeing them run with anything, it's just all I can do for right now. It's either that or run 20th century cars, which would look absolutely stupid. Although I will admit, when I bought these and brought them home, I did run them with my 20th century cars, but it would just look stupid and I would never hear the end of it. So anyways, let's go ahead and run them some more.
He's pretty strong, but the scenery is amazing. These planes seem to go on forever. We're heading west and making good time.
Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that little run. I know it wasn't very much, but again, to run 20th century cars with 19th century steam would look really stupid, so I just figured I'll just run it by themselves just to please everybody. So, but overall, this is a very nice set. Now, I mentioned passenger cars a minute ago, and the passenger cars I would be getting for this set would be the MTH Overton passenger cars. Now, Lionel made passenger cars for their Brass Hybrid 440s. Now, I don't even think they're compatible with this set because I believe, and I'm going to stress believe because I don't own them, they haven't even been shipped yet, and from the catalog description, it says that they're going to have drawbars instead of couplers. So I'd imagine the drawbar setup would go past the first car, and the tender for the 440 would have a drawbar instead of a coupler. Now, again, I'm not 100% sure if when they come out they blow my mind and they actually do have couplers on them. I may consider one for one or both of these sets here. We'll see. I don't know. But the Overton cars I would be getting are just your standard MTH Overton cars. They're really nice cars, and they would actually be really nice for these. So we'll see. Whichever one I decide to do will come in due time soon. So this is a really nice set. If you want to learn more about it, as far as the Promontory Summit itself goes, that you can Google. But if you want more on this particular set, I will link a video done by Sean of Sean's Trains and Cars. He did a video on this set when it first came out, and when I saw his, that's actually the reason why I decided to get this set, because I was on the fence about it when it first came out, and when I saw his video, I'm like, yeah, this is a really cool set, so that's why I have it here today. So I will link his video if you want to learn more about these engines than what I've shown you, and I also will link the product page so you guys can look on that and all the features and everything else. So, but until the next one, guys, you take care. I'm Matt, channel over 943. Have a good one.